Hello, you beautiful, beautiful women. I hope you're having an amazing night, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this. I am so excited to talk about money today. As always, I love it so much. I am speaking to you from beautiful Bali this morning. It's currently 9:15 in the morning, and it's just so beautiful, beautiful blue skies. I'm calling you from my beautiful villa here. My duck and my flamingo are a little bit deflated there, but here's some blue skies to cheer you up. Anyways, I'm here to chat about money and how to get your shit together to set yourself up for future success, set yourself up for financial freedom, feel good about it, feel empowered about your finances, and get into your money mindset about how to attract that money and actually keep it. For anybody who's in here, if you want to write any comments below where you are in your money journey, where you are in your business, any questions. I am a certified CPA. My name is Nikki Bartol. I am certified CPA/money coach. I talk to and help solopreneurs learn how to consciously spend, attract, and manage their money to feel empowered around their finances. There's no sense in feeling, anxious about money. It can be such an empowering, joyful experience to make money, have money, feel good about it, and actually know how to manage it and how to set yourself up for success without it just being something that you need to do to be an adult, which is kind of blech. So if anybody wants to comment below with anything, where they are in their business, any questions they have around money, where they are you focused on money mindset, money management, where you are in your journey. The number one thing I always tell everybody, everything always starts with mindset. I am a certified CPA, but I did corporate for about 7 years. And, I did my job. It was great. I was an accountant. I like being an accountant. But what I realized that was missing is this mindset and the judgment in our industry. So really, the number one thing that happens with solopreneurs is really their money mindset. That plays into your pricing. That plays into potentially self-sabotaging yourself from making money and not actually attracting it into your life, or self-sabotaging when it comes to you make the money and you're like, oh fuck, I'm not actually responsible with this. I don't feel comfortable with this. And then it all just disappears. So your money mindset is the number one determinant of your wealth and your financial success, because you can work 12-hour days 7 days a week, and if you don't have a positive money mindset, you will end up either pushing abundance away, or you will self-sabotage and actually the money will end up just disappearing. So how do you cultivate an abundance mindset where you know your worth, you know that it's coming to you, that you are abundant, that money is not limited, you're out of scarcity and into abundance, and feel confident in keeping that money that you make, rather than everybody who's like, oh yeah, I've made all this money and somehow it just disappears. I don't know what happened with it. I'm not responsible with it. So the number one thing is really determining what your beliefs are around money. What is your story around money? For anybody who's in here, if you want to comment below, what do you feel about money? How do you feel about money? What is your relationship with money? Is it a good thing that provides wealth and abundance and greatness, or is it something that's evil, that everybody who has it does evil things with it and you don't respect anybody who has a lot of money? Because if you don't like people who have a lot of money and you look down on people who have a lot of money, no matter how much you work, no matter how hard you work, you will never want to be that person that has a lot of money, and you will always push money away and push abundance away. So it's really kind of digging into what's your story behind money? What were your parents' beliefs around money? Because we didn't learn this stuff in school, which is absolutely ridiculous. So pretty much all of our relationship with money is based around what we're taught when we were kids. So what were your parents' relationships with money? How has that influenced you in your adult life and in your business? And then reframing those beliefs the best one being a tactic of, answering questions, investigating these beliefs, and then answering it to create a new affirmation. I do have a freebie that you can kind of reach through me or DM me. It actually takes you through journal prompts of how to determine what your limiting money belief is, and then how to reframe them, new money affirmations, and then extra bonus, more things about systems. But besides the point, so DM me if that is something that you want to look into. But really, the first thing is to determine what your money beliefs are, what your story is around money, and see how is that affecting and playing out into your life, and altering those beliefs to create new affirmations and new realities that you live by to keep you empowered and feel good about your money. If anybody wants to comment below with what your money story is, what your potential limiting belief around money is, or if you're completely empowered around money, that's amazing. How you feel, what's your affirmation that you use? The next step is more the practical side of things. Where are you in your business, and do you have a business bank account? If you do not have a business bank account, it does not matter how early on in your stage of your business you're not feeling that you are a legitimate business and your money is kind of all over the place, and it's not all over the place, it's in one place, and you're all over the place because you don't know what's what. So no matter how early you are in your business, always make sure you have a separate business bank account. Mentally, you feel more legit because you have a business bank account, because you are a legit business. And practically, you can keep everything separate, and it's so much easier to spend your money, feel confident in how you spend your money, and really just keep everything separate so that you can have clarity and organization in the money in your life. Because when your business is your life and your life is your business, it can get really jumbled up, and then you don't know what to spend on, and it can get really overwhelming. So always open up a business bank account. For all of the Americans here listening to this, there's an amazing bank account called Novo. It is online. You don't even need to be an LLC to be able to open it, and you're able to set it up, start it. You even have a reserve account in there where you can put, tax money, which I always recommend. Again, any taxes, just throwing it into a reserve account held for you, because it's, you're gonna have to pay it at the end of the year anyways. It's an amazing platform. It has a lot of amazing features. I can even send you a YouTube video that has different features and how to take advantage of it, and I can send a link. It's called Novo. Very easy to set up, and no matter what, if you do not have a business bank account, that is the number one thing that you should do, and start keeping your business and personal separate, and paying yourself into a personal account from your business account. That's also a very positive thing to do, because when you're paying yourself, you're acknowledging how much hard work you put in, and now you're paying yourself for you to reap the rewards of what you did. Number one thing. Second thing is to, no matter what, if you have a savings, which you should have some sort of a savings or be building up a savings, always make sure you have a high yield savings account or a high interest savings account. In Canada, high yield savings account, different terms, same thing, versus Canada, US. Same thing around Europe. I'm not sure on the details of it, how the accounts, but always, if you have any amount of savings, which you should be working on, again, which goes to the next point, always make sure you have a high yield savings account where you keep your money. Does not make sense to have money sitting somewhere that does absolutely nothing for you. Either you're taking it and investing it, but if you want to stay safe and you want to actually keep it as savings, opening up a high yield savings account is the only way to make that money work for you and have compounding interest, which also great. So in America, the CIT Bank has an amazing high yield savings account that I always recommend. And if you are in Canada, I will add the link in here with the high yield savings or high interest savings account from Canada. That is the number one that I always recommend as well. So making sure that you have a place to put your money, that it's actually doing something for you while you save. In that, the next thing that always needs to be done to set yourself up is setting up an emergency fund. So if you are wondering, what's my first step? What should I do? Should I save? Should I invest? Should I pay off debt? What is the number one thing that I can do to be responsible with my money? And that is opening up an account, a high yield savings account, and making sure that you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up. Start with 3 and then make a decision how you want to be spending your next money. But that is the number one thing that you should be doing to set yourself up for success. You feel like you're being responsible. You have the safety net, especially as a solopreneur with varying income. You know, to know that you are setting yourself up, that if you have a low month, if something were to happen, you have an emergency fund for 3 months. It mentally keeps you, warm and safe. You put it into a high yield savings account. It's making money for you, and it's just the number one thing. The next thing, of course, is, if you have any debt, paying off the debt. Again, I do say, don't necessarily always focus on paying off your debt first before setting up an emergency fund. Always be working on setting up an emergency fund of at least 3 months while you're paying off debt, while you're doing anything else if you want to get into investing, but making sure that you are contributing and putting money towards an emergency fund. Next thing is paying off debt. If anyone here comment, are you worried about debt? Are you worried about paying off debt? Do you know how to pay off your debt, in which way? And a lot of people think, okay, well, I should be paying off debt based on whatever has the highest interest rate. And surprisingly, it's not actually the case. What you want to be doing with paying off your debt is actually taking whatever your lowest amount of debt is, and whether it's a credit card, line of credit, whatever it is, the amount that is the lowest, you pay off that first. And what happens is you pay off your minimum amounts for every account that you have, every account of debt that you have. You pay your minimum amounts, and then you put whatever you have left to allocate towards paying off debt to whatever debt you have that is the lowest amount. When you have that, you'll start paying it off, and once that's paid off, which will be the quickest to pay off, you will feel so good, you will be so motivated, and that will create it's called a snowball effect. So if you pay off the smallest amount of debt that you have, and then work on the next one, and then chip away at that, and then work on the next one, it's a snowball effect that makes you feel motivated and it encourages you to keep paying off that debt in that way. So again, first thing, determining your money management or money mindset. Second is making sure that you have a business bank account, making sure you have a high yield savings account to put your savings money in so that it's actually working for you. Setting up a emergency fund of at least 3 months, and using the snowball effect to pay off all of your debt to keep you encouraged and motivated to continue paying that off. Once you have your emergency fund, you've paid off your debt, and you want to get into more, and of course, while you're doing all of that, looking into, investments. Investing early, investing often obviously sets you up for future success. That is a whole other topic that I won't necessarily get into because I could do a whole live just on that. But that is essentially the 5, first steps, I believe it was 5 steps of setting yourself up for success to begin with, and setting yourself up for future financial freedom. The next thing is really getting empowered and manage your money in your business. So if you have your business bank account, which was, step 2, taking that and making sure that you are tracking everything that you have. Tracking, what are your personal expenses? What are your business expenses? What revenue has come through? What have been the sales that have been, the most profitable in your business? So being able to take a look in one spreadsheet, I've actually created a spreadsheet that combines both personal and business expenses, where you can put together relatively easily, or contact me if you would like a copy of it, is that you have all of the revenue that comes into your world, all of the money that comes into you personally, because your business and personal is intertwined. You want to know where you are in your business and in your life, how you are and where you are in your life when it comes to money, and your business expenses and your personal expenses. And in one place, you can see what your business profit is, how that relates over month to month and over the year, what's been profitable, what hasn't, what's been selling great, what packages, if you have different offers, maybe one-on-one versus group coaching, or, different packages you offer. You can take a look and evaluate what's happening in your business by looking at your accounts, by looking at your revenue, by tracking all of this and making educated decisions to be more effective and efficient in your business. but also taking it and seeing, okay, this is my business profit because I have my business revenue and my business expenses. Now, what are the money that's come to me even outside of my business and all of the things that's come to me in my life this month, and what are my personal expenses, and what's the money that I have left over that I now have, and or what have I spent more than I've made in this month. And having that and tracking that and having the clarity and organization in the money in your life makes you feel so empowered to make decisions in your life, to know what you're doing, to know what's happening in the money in your life, and being like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is what's happening. I can now make educated decisions on what to do going forward, how much I can put into my, savings account, my emergency fund, how much I can pay off into debt, how much I can invest this month. But if you don't know that and you aren't tracking it, you just kind of flounder around and you don't really know what's happening and where you're at. So tracking everything, and it really doesn't have to be that hard. I always recommend having a money date Monday, where once a month or once a week, you are working on your relationship with money. Money is a relationship. It's a relationship like anything else in your life. And taking it out on a date and working on that relationship is an important relationship to work on. So by looking at that and taking money on a date every week, you just take a look at what your transactions were in the week, and you'd be surprised. There aren't that many transactions that happen in a week. There really isn't. Or even if you do it every few days. If you do it every few days, it's a 10-minute activity. Max 20 minutes if you do it on a weekly basis. There's different things you can do. You can, copy and paste from your bank account and just throw it into a spreadsheet and move it to different categories. There's so many tools you can do that if 20 minutes a week, you just track everything that's happening, you can make insane decisions. You feel confident, you feel great, and you take that money date Monday, and instead of it being a task that you have to do because you are an adult and you have to know your money, have it be a positive thing. Have it be a date. Do a money meditation. Do some journaling on, your money mindset. Read a money mindset book or, financial literacy book. Do whatever it takes and feel good about it. Put joy and excitement around what it feels like. Do a visualization technique where you're tracking your money and you're envisioning what it feels like to, keep on adding those numbers and has those numbers increase. Like as those numbers increase and as you visualize, like you can be putting in your spreadsheet and know what it feels like and feel what it feels like to increase those numbers and be reaching your goals and your targets and everything. Have it be a fun thing that you do once a week rather than a task that you have to do on a weekly basis, because that's what it means to be an adult. When you do that, you have the education, you have the empowerment, you have the knowledge, you have the organization, you have the clarity and everything in your business to be able to move forward and feel great about your money and set yourself up for future success. The last thing is, do not create a budget. It's kind of crazy to say, and a little counterintuitive because everyone thinks, to be responsible with your money, you have to live on a budget. And that is so the opposite of what works. They say that 80% of people claim that they have a budget and run from a budget, and 79% of those people, 79% don't actually stick with it. Budgeting creates a perpetual scarcity mindset because you are thinking about how you're spending money and how you shouldn't spend money because there's not enough to spend. It perpetuates the scarcity mindset, and if you're always thinking there's not enough, you will always be in a state of not enough. Budgeting is the last thing that you should actually be doing, which is, I hope, great to hear from anybody here who doesn't want to create a budget or hates their budget or, gets really discouraged because they don't stick within their budget. That is not what you should be doing. Budgeting is actually terrible. Number one thing you should be doing, and just sticking with it, is paying yourself regularly, often, and investing as early as you possibly can and often. And in that, instead of budgeting around, budgeting about what you need to with what you limit in your money, work on allocating the money that you have coming in and living off of what's left over. So with that, and the way to do that is, like I said, the first step, or second step after money mindset was opening up a business bank account. Having multiple accounts in different places for you to put your money allows you to allocate the money out that you're making, and then set priorities of exactly what you want to be spending your money on. So that is, I want to reinvest back into my business usually. Money comes in, that's for taxes, putting that out, already because I know I have to pay that, and then putting a percentage that I want to make personally and I want to pay myself. Then you take that and you're like, okay, so this is the money I have left, for myself. What do I want to do with that? I want to save up for the emergency fund, step 3. Then I want to pay off debt, or I want to invest, or I want to save up for a wedding, or I want to save up for a trip, or what are your top, as few as possible, max 3 or 4 priorities that I want to be spending my money on. Take that money and allocate it into a different account or wherever it needs to, whether it's pay off debt or invest or put into a savings account or wherever. Take it outside of your working personal account and know that you're setting yourself up because you are allocating the money to where your priorities are, and then what you have left over is the money that you can spend on. I also recommend putting at least 1 to 5% of the money you make into a splurge fund. Once you allocate it into a splurge fund, you have that money to splurge on yourself. You've worked hard for the money that you have. You should be able to, hey girl, welcome back. I'm happy you're here. Almost done actually, but I hope you watched the replay. Perfect. So by splurging, you're working really hard for your money. You should be able to splurge on things every now and then. So taking money that you've made, it just has to be even 1%. If you're worried about it, take 1%. Maybe if it's just going to get your nails done and just feeling really confident about doing that, or spending and buying something that you're looking for and saving up with your splurge fund and knowing that you feel good about the fact that you're actually spending that because it's what you've allocated for that. So once you've taken the money that you've put into your personal account and you've allocated it to all the responsible things or the things that you want, that you feel if you were to be responsible with your money, this is what you would be doing. You take that money, then what you have left over is your spending money. And that in and of itself is kind of a budget because you live off of what's in that bucket. And it's kind of like in North America, they have there's this theory of a small plate versus big plate, and how, Americans tend to be a little bit larger because, I'm not going to say we because I'm not American, but North Americans have very, very large plate sizes. So you fill up your plate with a whole bunch of food and you eat it all, and you eat it all and it's great and it's wonderful, but then you expand. Whereas, if you had a smaller plate scientifically, and, the way that in psychology, if you have a smaller plate, you fill up that plate and you feel just as full with that smaller plate as you did with the large plate because you're finishing what is on that plate. And the same thing kind of works with your bank account. If what you have to spend is in your account that's a little bit smaller, you can live off of that without really reducing your lifestyle at all. You're just as full with a small plate as you are with the big plate. And the same thing happens. There's so many people who get raises in their company, and all of a sudden, they have all of this extra money coming in. Their life doesn't necessarily change. Their spending habits change because they spend more money, but it's not conscious. It just kind of happens, and all of a sudden it disappears. So, the level that you make and the level that you have in that account, it doesn't necessarily always change how you actually live. So by allocating your money out and not having it in an account that you spend, you generally can easily live off a little bit less so that you can make sure that you're prioritizing other things to be responsible with your money. But you also can feel so confident in what you're spending because you know that the money that's in that account is there to spend. And who doesn't want to not doubt spending money or knowing where it's going to go or how it's going to manage and how it's going to play out into the rest of, their life, because you've set yourself up for success. You have your money in all the places that it needs to be, so that money that's in that account is there to spend, and you can feel confident and happy and excited to be spending that money that is there for you to spend because you've worked really fucking hard for it. So instead of budgeting, which again, like I said, breeds scarcity, allocate the money and allocate the abundance that is coming to you into the priorities that you are excited about in your life. And it is a way, I guess, technically, of budgeting without actually budgeting in a just higher vibration of joy and excitement and having insane empowerment around your money. So I think I am coming down to the last few minutes. Just as a full recap, first, top steps of setting yourself up for success. Work on your money mindset, determining what your beliefs are that could be self-sabotaging you, opening up a business or bank account no matter how far you are in your yay priorities. That's amazing. Setting up your priorities and being excited to put your money towards it just makes the biggest difference. Honestly, it's amazing. So setting up your business bank account no matter where you are in your business, setting up a high yield savings account, making sure that your money is working for you, setting up an emergency fund of at least 3 months of expenses, paying off your debt using the snowball effect, which is paying off the smallest amount first, keeping you motivated and going forward. And then, of course, going into the management of tracking everything and having a money date Monday. By doing that, you have clarity and organization in your numbers, and using that, you can then allocate your money on a percentage basis, allowing you to budget and feel empowered and amazing about everything you're doing, setting yourself up for future financial success and just happiness around your money with no anxiety and just peace and educated decisions and just, more efficiency and effectiveness in your business. It's just amazing. And then it all just comes to you. It just flows and you're doing amazing things with it. And I love it. I love it. I hope that was helpful. If you are watching the replay and you have absolutely any questions, I will link some of the resources that I said before in regards to the bank accounts to use and different things like that in the comments. If you have any questions for me on any of those steps or want to dive further in any of it, like I said, I am Nikki Bartol. I am a certified CPA money coach that combines money mindset practices with practical money management tools to help you manage, attract, and spend your money consciously. I have a freebie, like I said earlier in it, that is about money mindset, that takes you through your money mindset. If you want that, reach out to me. I can send it to you completely, obviously free. And I am actually setting up a group 6-week program to go through all of the steps that I took you through here and so much more. We get into pricing, we get into actually implementing profit first. I give you spreadsheets, I give you everything. We dive into money mindset. So if you are on this journey and you would like to implement the things that I have gone through today, reach out to me and I can give you some information about the group program. It's happening in just a month. I'm so excited. I hope some of you join me, and I love you, and I am cheering you on for all of the abundance in the world because you work really hard and you deserve it. And I love you all.